Welcome to the Catapult Effect podcast. I'm Katie Wrigley, neuroscience coach and entrepreneur. This podcast is for high-performing leaders who look capable on the outside but know the pressure of carrying too much alone. Each week, we explore the internal and external systems that create real ease, from nervous system regulation to delegation and smarter support. If you're ready to build in a way that feels steady and sustainable, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Catapult Effect podcast. I am your host, Katie Wrigley, and I have such a cool guest with me today, Laura Orwig. Laura works with people who feel a little lost, a little overwhelmed, and at a crossroads, wondering, how did I get here and what's next? So let me give you a little bit more of an introduction to Laura, because I love that piece already. So she is a gifted spiritual counselor, intuitive coach, and psychic medium known for her uncanny accuracy, deep compassion, and soul level clarity. She helped those who feels lost, stuck, overwhelmed, or in transition reconnect with their purpose, release energetic baggage, and realign with who they truly are. That's so important. Whether you're navigating a major life crossroads, healing from burnout, or craving a deeper connection to spirit, Laura offers a sacred space where emotional truth meets intuitive precision. Her approach is equal parts grounded and mystical, part therapist, part seer, part no bullshit soul whisperer. I love that. Laura sees straight through the surface, identifying root wounds and hidden beliefs with laser insight, then guiding you to clear, empowered next steps. Clients describe her as transformational, spot on, and the missing piece after years of therapy. She supports high functioning women, emerging healers, and deep feeling professionals who are ready to clear past life patterns, stop the cycle of self sacrifice, and finally rise into the life that they were meant for. With over a decade of experience, Laura works one on one and in group settings, offering intuitive coaching, spiritual counseling, past life work, and energetic realignment. Her sessions blend warmth, directness, and divine truth, helping you rewrite your story from the inside out. Based in Greater Grand Vancouver and working globally via Zoom, Laura is here to guide you home to yourself. You are safe, but we're going deep. Welcome to the Catapult Effect podcast, Laura. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Thanks, Katie. You did the whole 9 yards. Wow.
I
Yeah.
did, because when I read your intro,
My
the
goodness.
form, just, total transparency to the audience that helps me guide. And you can probably tell I'm reading as I do that. But there was nothing that I wanted to cut out of it because I was like, this is all important. And I want to make sure all of it is out there because it matters. It really does.
I'm just squeegeeing because I was laughing so hard I was crying.
Well, that's a great
Is
way.
it which I was gonna say, which is great energy to start.
Yes, 100%. So I want to dive in because I love that you've got that groundedness and also like the woo side. Like I tell people I'm a hybrid. I'm half science, I'm half woo. So I'm like, oh, this woman's really resonates with me. So what is the importance of intuition and how can people start to build their own intuition, that intuitive guidance, that knowing?
Well, the importance is it's really it's your North Star, it's your rudder. And if you aren't connected to your own intuition, what you're doing is you're relying on everybody else in the world to guide your life. And trust me, that's not a really good idea. Not especially not right now. Okay.
Right.
Now, the best way to start to really get in touch with your own intuition and your own guidance is to start trusting it. And the big part of that is to take action because what we tend to do when we get some kind, I don't care whether you call it a gut instinct, intuition, women's knowing, whatever, a gift from God. I don't care what you call it. It's all the same energy. Okay. The thing is, a lot of times when we get these promptings, we sit back and say, oh, that's just my imagination or, that's just wishful thinking. Okay. And then there's the next stage where people start believing, oh, that could really be something, and they'll just sit there and they'll think about it. And that's all good. But I tell you, the way that you really activate your intuition is by acting on it. See, that's the part that people leave out so often. So, and I don't care, it doesn't have to be a huge leap of faith. It could be something as simple as researching online some little intuitive prompt that you got, okay? And that because I'll tell you right now, part of that comes within, but a lot of your intuition and guidance also comes from your guides and your angels. And the only way that they know that you're truly getting it is if you act upon it. Because your guides and your angels will use all different methods of giving you messages, and they don't know that it's working until you act upon it. Okay. So you might be sitting there getting the messages, but if you don't take any action, they'll try something else because they'll think, "Oh, that didn't work because she's not doing it." So that is probably the biggest part. Number one, listen and trust. That's actually listen and trust is number one and two. Number three is take action. And that is the super important one.
You bring up a really good point there, Laura, where a lot of times we think like I'm asking for guidance, I'm checking in with my team, I'm talking to spirit, but nothing's happening, nothing's happening. And I think you just hit the nail on the head. So I would love it if you can give like an example of like what can be like a message or some sort of clue or guidance that's coming in from a spiritual team or like maybe through I get a lot of messages through eagles and I love that. And I'm like, am I taking action? Like so
Well, this is gonna sound funny and people will laugh, but I have had so many messages throughout my life from billboards. Different kinds of billboards, like ones you'd see on the highway, sometimes ones that are on like the side of the building or something like that. Okay. And I'm not kidding you. I have had times where I've had a question in my mind or I wasn't exactly sure on which way to go. And then I will see a billboard, and it will literally have the exact I'm trying to think back of an exact example, and I can't pinpoint one right now, but I'll just give you a created example, okay? And this is just a really simple example, but it often works like this, okay? Say you were trying to decide on what color car you wanted, and you couldn't decide, okay? You were waffling back and forth, let's just say, between blue and gray, okay? And this was making you crazy, and you couldn't make up your mind.
right.
And you've been asking this question, and then you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, there's this billboard there, and it's got this incredible midnight blue car, and it says, "Midnight blue is it for 2026," or something like that. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I've actually had things like that happen to me, or even like, you're trying to decide whether this is the time to act. Say you've got a big thing coming up and should I do it now or should I wait? Okay? And that's a very common thing for a lot of people. And I literally was in the mall and one of the stores it was a travel shop actually and had a great big poster in the window, and it said, relax, you have lots of time." Okay? And it was like literally this is the other thing. When these things have happened to me, it's literally like these things are illuminated from behind. Like they're literally glowing, okay? So this is how you know that this is really not your imagination or the thing is so out in left field, like, it's so unusual that there's no way that this could possibly happen any other way. Okay, that's a really good and this can happen with anything. You can this is a funny one, I actually saw this. This was a license plate, okay? And I was literally driving and I was fuming about something. Okay, I'm not gonna go into the big story, just I was fuming about it, and I pull up behind this car and I glanced down, and I'm not kidding you, it had a vanity plate on it and said, "Why do" and it was in, of course, reduced lettering, "Why do you give a shit?" Okay. And it was really cool. I wish I could remember exactly how they did it with only a few letters, but it was really funny. And I just sat there and I just started laughing. I almost peed my pants. I was laughing so hard because I was really in this thing of, I got to decide. I got to make a decision. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then pull up by this car and I read the license plates. It's like, why do you give a shit? Like, this is what I mean. When you're
Yeah.
tuned and you're open to stuff, all your answers come. Like, they just come. right? And
Yep.
it can a million different ways. And it could be even somebody saying something. Was it literally that you were thinking in your head and you haven't even said it out loud? And somebody out of the blue will repeat it right beside you, and you go, okay. you know,
Yep.
there it is, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of listen, trust, and take action. And sometimes the take action part is taking no action at all, but you don't wimp out on that one because like it was like that license plate. Why do you give a shit? It's leave it alone. You don't have to worry about this. So you don't have to do anything. Okay.
Yep.
But don't make it your default because honestly, most of the time, there's something that you actually physically have to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Total sense. And I just want to acknowledge the voodoo magic that's kind of going on here. So as you were pulling that up, I was thinking in my head, when's the last time I had an intuitive hit? I get them all the time. I had one today.
Yeah.
The one that came to mind was almost literally word for word as you were talking is you have enough time. Slow
Yeah.
down. Like, cause I just joined this new program and I'm so excited about what it's got, like over the moon excited. And so like immediately want to dive in, absorb everything, grab, grab, grab. And there, we can
Yeah.
only go as fast as we learn, right? And I can learn pretty quickly. But that was like, I was like, all right, I'm going to spend all day Sunday. I'm going to go into this program. And then I start to go into the training. And I'm like,
So
yeah, no, I need to slow my roll. And it was literally like, you've got plenty of time. Like, this is 100% the program for you. You need to take your time learning what's in here and stop trying to do it all right now. Like, I'm trying to condense this, like, all right, let's just get it all in here and get it perfect and like change everything in 2 weeks. It's like,
no.
no, that's not going to happen. But I've got the time. And as soon as like I felt my body relax, and I'm like, you know what? A nice, relaxing Sunday afternoon sounds a lot better than sitting here watching my
Making myself
grow.
no.
And I had a great day yesterday, and
Yeah.
I hit the ground running, tons of energy today. I had a 95 sleep score, my biometrics. I'm like, wow, look at all those things.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is happening when someone starts to really hone in and refine the skill to listen to their intuition? How much easier can that make life?
Make it so much easier. Your example you just gave was perfect because you would have been if you hadn't listened, you would have made yourself crazy and you would have had a crappy day yesterday,
Yep.
and you probably actually wouldn't have gotten nearly as far as you wanted to get, and then you would have been really frustrated, and you'd have at least a crappy day today,
Hmm.
if not for the rest of the week. Because when you set up energy like that, I'll give you an example of my own. I've been working on this new Kriya. I've got a new actual Indian guru that I've been doing with my meditation and yoga stuff, and I was hit again. I was hitting it hard like you, and I started. And I never. By the way, I never get headaches. I'm one of these people that never gets headaches, almost never. And all of a sudden, I had a headache for like 3 days, like a low grade. It's like having a low grade fever, except it was a low grade headache. I had this headache for like 3, 4 days. I'm like, "What is going on?" And so I finally actually made an appointment on Friday to go to chiro because I thought I'd done something to my neck, right? As soon as I made the decision that, "Oh, yeah," and then I thought, "Well, maybe I'm just doing a little bit too much yoga and maybe I should just chill for a couple of days," right? So I made the appointment with the chiro, and then I woke up the next day, which was when the appointment was supposed to be. And miraculously, my sore neck and my low grade headache was totally gone. So what did I do? I phoned the chiro back and canceled my appointment and saved myself 75 bucks, you know? It's just, it's that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really about trusting yourself and trusting in, something greater than yourself. And it just makes if you wanna make this a little bit more practical and a little less woo-woo, if you think about, high performance athletes, they talk about the flow,
Yep.
okay? And the flow state, and that's really what it is. When you're in the flow state, you are listening to your own intuition, your own guidance, and what you're getting from around you, and everything becomes easier.
Yep.
When we're not listening and we're trying to force issues, everything all of a sudden becomes a struggle. And
Yeah.
it's like, and I always tell people too, if something doesn't happen, well, guess what? It wasn't meant to happen. And, sometimes we'll get ourselves all wound up about something didn't happen or somebody canceled something with us that we really wanted. We thought we really wanted or we thought we really needed. And then you just go, oh, okay. I guess that wasn't meant to happen. And it's the old famous one. This is a really good example. I used to have to do this horrendous when I was working corporate, this horrendous commute into Vancouver every morning. And I forgot my keys. So I had to go all the way back up to my condo to get my other set of keys for my car because I'm not going anywhere without my keys to go back down. And I was cursing because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to put me 10 minutes behind. If you know anything about commuting, 10 minutes can be like a lifetime. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to be late now. So what ended up happening is I found out later. I didn't find out till the end of the day. But if I had left at my usual time and I didn't have that key thing go on, there was a horrendous multi-car accident right in my route. I would have either been in that accident or stuck behind it, okay? Because of the timing. And that just taking that 10 minutes or 15 minutes out of my arrival time, it kept me safe.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So when you start seeing things and I tell you, those things happen all the time, but most of the time we're not aware of them. Okay. I just happen to get absolute evidence on this. And a lot of times I think I get evidence on things so I can tell the story, by the way.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
things often happen to me ahead of the wave. I always say my guides make sure I'm always ahead of the wave in order so I can pass that information or that wisdom on to other people when it happens to them. But if I hadn't experienced it first, I wouldn't have that to offer. So that's another.
And I've noticed that a lot of times those messages, especially getting help from something outside of it, not just that gut knowing, comes when we're in some sort of level of emotional distress, right? Like entrepreneurs, we talk about we hit the edge a lot. And we are going to like, let's be real, no matter how well your business is going, it's a matter of time until you're going to hit the edge. And then it's a, what are you going to do when you hit the edge? And I think it was, I don't know, couple months ago. It was sometime early in 2026. So not we're in April now, so not all that long ago. But just the way things lined up, I was in a mastermind that I've been in for we're on one of our calls that I've been in for 9 years now. And I had planned to be home, wasn't home, was bringing my dog back from the vet. All of this was perfectly timed. And so I didn't want, and when I try to get out of my car and shift inside, I always lose a little bit, and it was my turn to do the sharing as I pulled into my driveway. So I finished off the call from my driveway, and I was just really expressing my angst at that edge that I had hit, and like, I can't keep going like this, like something needs to change. And, like, as soon as the other people on the call just acknowledged, what I was putting out
Yeah.
there, I look up and there's not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 bald eagles flying around. 7!
Yeah. Yeah.
7! And I kept the meaning of that up to remind me, and so I have it here, and it says what does it say? Seeing 7 bald eagles circling immediately after significant emotional release of overwhelm is a powerful, rare, and deeply positive spiritual omen. It typically signifies a major spiritual initiation, signifying that you have released old burdens and are being supported in elevating your perspective to a higher, more empowered state.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the 7 is very, apropos too, very important, because 7 the vibration of 7 is spiritual mastery,
Ooh,
okay? So
right.
and yeah, and spiritual mastery really means connecting to yourself, connecting to your authentic self. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no more powerful message than that. And that's what
Right?
I think, you have to be open because messages can come to you in any way that you could possibly think of. And as you react to them, And as your guides and angels know that you got the message, then they go, "Oh, she gets that. We're going to use that again," or something similar. Whenever they know that they have grabbed our attention and that they've got their message through, they will use that modality because everybody's different, right?
Yep.
Everybody's different. Everybody notices different things. It's a kind of almost like pattern, well, it's not almost, it is pattern recognition. It's just like, you've only ever seen 2 red cars, okay? And then you buy a red car, and then, like, every second car on the road is a red car.
Yep.
Okay, same thing.
Yeah.
It works the same way.
Yeah, so basically so that part of the brain is the reticular activating system, the RAS. And so when you tap into your intuition, you're actually getting your RAS to funnel more of what's important to you at
It's
a level.
important.
Oh,
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the universe knows I pay attention to birds. I actually got a message in the form of 3 there's normally never ravens around here. And there were 3 blackbirds going through the sky, and I'm like, "Those are not crows. Those are not the sound crows make." And so I again, like, "What
The
sound does
raven.
a raven make?" Played play. I'm like, "Oh, those were 3 ravens. What does that mean?" Another good sign. Thank you,
Yeah.
universe. I'm paying attention.
Yeah, and the energy of ravens is very different than the energy of crows.
Very. Yes.
Very
Yes.
different. Almost polar opposite, actually, now that I think about it, yeah.
The 3 flying, and I know ravens aren't always necessarily a good sign, but I honestly think most of the signs that we're getting are positive. I don't really think that fear messaging is not coming from the beyond. Fear is something humans come up with.
No, yeah, the only time I've ever seen anything that I would even relate from spirit as being a fear message is something if you are it's a warning message that you are in imminent danger, and that doesn't happen very often, but I tell you, if it happens, you better pay atten you better pay attention.
Yeah.
'Cause otherwise, those fear messages are not coming from spirit, they're not coming from your own intuition, they're just coming from the mass consciousness. And I tell you, there's a lot of fear energy in the mass consciousness right now. It's just like overwhelming. Anybody that is what I call a highly sensitive person, whether you're into this stuff or not, there's a lot of people who are very highly sensitive who aren't. And you have to be very careful right now because you can really get hooked into that recurring loop of fear porn because there sure is a whole bunch of it out there right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
and it can drag. I even, I've even caught myself a couple times, guy. You start feeling I call it the spin. It's like circling around the event horizon, right? I start feeling the spin. I go, "Oh, I better do something to get myself to stop that spin." Okay,
Yeah.
there's the gist of it. If you feel your stuff starting to spin, like going, you can look at it any way you want. Some people think of it like spinning down the drain, thing like that. You have to pull yourself out of that energy. This is why we're gonna switch topics. You're dealing with Laura here, so we're gonna they just hopped into another thing. This is why I tell my clients so many times that why meditating in the morning first thing in the morning is so important because all kinds, and I'm not going to go into all the reasons why, and some of them I'm not even sure why, but often we will wake up in a bad mood, okay? Whether it's fearful, whether we're angry, whether we're frustrated, who knows? We might have dreamed about shit. There might be a lot of crap going on in the mass conscious. Who knows? But you wake up and you feel like crap, okay? If you don't change that energy first thing in the morning when you wake up, I guarantee you it will do nothing but get worse throughout the day. By the time the end of the day comes around and you still haven't done anything to shift that energy, I guarantee you you're going to get locked into at least another day of that if you don't do something about it. So this is why I always say the quickest and easiest way, because no matter what energy, no matter what state of mind you wake up in, if you meditate, do your meditation in the morning, and it doesn't have to be hours, okay? 15, 20 minutes, you're golden, okay? It can change your energy for the entire day and keep you from that spiral, okay? And that's what we need to, that's what self-regulation is all about. A lot of people these days are talking about so much about self-regulation. Um, and it's really important. really, really important for your mental health, your mental and emotional health.
Absolutely is. And I want to take a deeper dive into that self regulation in the next part. And this is a great place to wrap it up for today. Thank
Okay.
you for joining Laura and I, and come back again later this week to listen to part two. We're going to do a deep dive into that self regulation and some other goodies to help you learn how to.
2.0.
What was that again, Laura?
2.0.
2.0. Yes, yes. Come
Laura
back
and
for
Katie
2.0.
2.0.
And as usual, I thank you so much for making the choice to listen to the show today. And until the next part, 2.0, please be well. Thanks for being here on the Catapult Effect podcast. If today's episode supported you, share it with another leader who's ready to create more ease in how they build. And leave a review so more heart-led leaders can find these conversations. You don't have to do everything yourself. When the right systems are in place, inside and out, business gets lighter. Until next time, protect your capacity.